Hey everyone, welcome to A Chef and a Shaman, episode 15. I'm here with Chef Whitney Aronoff. Say hi, Whitney.
Hi guys, nice to see you tonight.
Wow, you look so pretty. Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
that's so sweet.
Wow, great lighting and everything. So, uh, Whitney and I have had a heck of a week. It's been really interesting, everything that's been going on. I'm going to let her start, and then I will chime in later. What's been happening with you this week?
Oh, are you wanting to talk about the kidney?
Yes, I do! do!
Well, do you want to know it's what's really interesting? So tonight, guys, I think we're going to chat with you about the kidney energy, kidney health, everything regarding those two little shapes that are actually right behind your rib cage, but when they hurt, you feel it more as lower back pain. And it was really interesting. Um, Last week, I had an amazing guest on my podcast, the High Vibration Living podcast. Her name is Rebecca Wood, and she wrote one of my favorite books out there called The New Whole Foods Encyclopedia. She's known for her James Beard Award winning books about food, but she's also a famous face reader. And so she was trained in the traditional Chinese practice of face reading. So being able to look at the face and seeing the health of all the organs and the digestive system in the body. And you can see how you need to change your diet according to how it's coming up on your face, lines, coloring, um, marks, coloring. I mean, it's fascinating. So, as we were recording the podcast, she had already done some work on my face. So I had sent her the photos she requested. She did her close up review. And one of the things that came up, which you guys will be able to hear on her episode of the podcast, is she was telling me about blue markings that she was seeing on the sides of my nose. And that had to do like, you can't tell on camera here, but if you were to take a photo of me and zoom in, apparently you can see blue, just the color, the shade of blue um, on the side of my nose. And that is equivalent to kidney health and there being distress near the kidneys. So I thought that was very interesting. I was already looking into kidney health. And then out of the blue, um, I got word from my parents that they were at the emergency room because my dad thought he had a bladder infection. And what went from being a potential bladder infection turned out to being a about 5-inch tumor on his kidney and needing to remove his kidney and the tumor immediately. So the past week and a half has been wild. He went to the hospital, got checked in, emergency kidney removal, tumor removal. He's been in the hospital for a week and a half now. And in the meantime, another family friend of ours who is a very well known and respected functional medicine doctor and chiropractor in the area. He's also been diagnosed with the same exact health issue, the tumor on the kidney and needing to get the kidney removed. And what's really interesting is the more that we're learning about kidney health um, and these tumors that can grow on the kidney, and you don't know what's happening because the kidney is in a sac, and so the tumor grows within the sac of the kidney and it's protected from the rest of the body. And unless you have a scan done specifically focused on the kidney, you would never notice, you'd never know in any other health checkup. But apparently, a lot of kidney problems isn't so much diet related, it's environmental related. So it has us really wondering what is going on in the environment in the part of town that we have lived most of our lives and our family friend has lived most of their life, because this is a very odd coincidence.
Wow. And so to piggyback on top of that, I think if anyone follows this channel, you'll already know that my mother just got out of the hospital, recovering from kidney cancer surgery. So there's a lot of kidney stuff going on, and so it was pretty much in the same week that Whitney's dad got his kidney removed, and then my mother got her kidney removed, and it was just a really kind of interesting coincidence. And I was there with Whitney when she got the call from her mom from the hospital, letting them know that his kidney weighed 10 pounds. It was 10 pounds, and just like I couldn't believe how much that thing weighed when they took it out.
Yeah, so the tumor was 4.7 inches, so almost 5 inches. And from my baby pinky to the bottom of my hand is 5 inches. So that was the size, this was the size of the tumor in his body, about the size of my hand from the pinky down to the bottom of my hand, plus the kidney was removed. So the the combination of the tumor and the kidney was 10 pounds that was removed from his body. I talked with a friend who is a doctor about that, and they believe on top of that, additional weight was lost because there was so much fluid built up around the body, protecting the body from that tumor. So it's just, it's fascinating. But I would love to know, since you've been through this a little longer than I have, Shamananda, can we talk about the spiritual meaning of the kidneys and the emotions that the kidneys are connected to?
Sure, sure. I mean, kidneys and liver are usually pretty closely related with anger, rage. I know that I'm fairly certain you also looked it up, and it had something to do with what was it?
It's a connection to home and feeling
Connection to
safe.
home and feeling
Yeah.
safe, right? And which actually really resonates with what my mother was going through, because I know that in her life she didn't feel she was feeling very alone, and she doesn't have a partner anymore, so uh, a connection to home for her might have felt as though she would have been partnered up. The home that she thought she was going to build was no longer, and so there could have been a lot of things in there. And I know she was, you know the loneliness would have really upset her. She worked really hard her whole life not to be alone, and then she ended up alone anyway. So all of that time spending by herself, uh, and also she really likes to drink, so there's that aspect as well going through the kidneys. So if you're drinking and you're thinking about all these things at the same time, and it's processing through your kidney, and part of that is rage and anger, then it's going to affect how your kidney is going to receive it, and that itself could create a kind of cancer. Her cancer was aggressive, so that they needed to take it out very quickly. And for your dad, it was almost overnight. I mean, they said, "Oh, there's something going on. Oh, you're getting it removed now." Like it was super super fast for your dad. So I think
Yeah,
it's like three
it
or
was
four days
wild.
or something.
It was wild. Exactly. From thinking he had a bladder infection to being admitted to the hospital 24 hours later, and then being taken into surgery about 48 hours later. But the interesting thing is, the whole time they believed the tumor was completely benign and that there were no cancer cells in his body. And so they're taking the tumor in for additional investigation. And so we'll find out what the next steps are. Ironically, it's when these things happen, suddenly all these other people who are going through the same thing. My brother very sadly has a good friend over in Spain who just lost his mom to kidney cancer. And so he's sharing with my brother everything they wish they could have done for her. But the number one issue was for them dealing with her kidney diagnosis is they're in Spain and it's a socialist country. So they didn't have access to any good health care. Um, and so it's a real blessing that, I feel very grateful that I'm in the US, that I'm next to a very good hospital, and that we have the ability to have quality health insurance. Because a lot of people in other countries, though everyone thinks life is better in Europe, if you were actually to talk to the Europeans, they would tell you what's really going on with their politics and their healthcare and business. And it's not all peaches and cream.
No, absolutely. It's the same. It's the same in Canada too. Canada's not. It's a little bit farther behind. all due respect to their healthcare system. I know that a lot of Americans think that, oh, let's go to Canada because their healthcare system seems a little bit more organized, and there seems to be benefits there. But the problem is that they're behind. They're behind. If you really look at even just the amount of people that live in Canada, we have as many people living in Canada as we do in California.
No
So,
way.
yeah, so there's about 38 million in all of Canada, and there's approximately 38 million, give or take, obviously, in California alone.
Wow.
So, part of the reason why, and if you've never heard of a magnet, I know we've talked about magnet hospitals before. A magnet hospital, if you haven't tuned into that episode, has to do with being placed into a hospital that is the top tier. So they've been recognized as top tier, the highest quality, all the way through, and they get to have this prestigious label of magnet. Now, if you or a loved one ever gets sick, God forbid, you know, that's the place that you want to take them or take yourself, is a magnet hospital. So all you have to do is Google magnet hospitals and the list will pop up. Go to one of those. Go to one of those. But so just for the sake of just scale, uh, I Googled magnet hospitals in Canada to see how many there were. And the numbers matched, I guess, the population, because in all of Canada, there's only one magnet hospital. But in America, there's like 400. So it's just, it's showing you where Canada's at with their healthcare system. It's not in a good place. The hospital that they were at, they are just when we were there, they were transferring from paper to digital. So that it's on the computer instead of they're writing everything out by hand like they did 20 years ago or 30 years ago. It's ridiculous what they were. Very behind, very, very behind, and the health care that my mother received was not good. But anyway, so I think part of the point is you did mention something that I wanted to say something about. You said, when you start to notice about kidneys, you started noticing a bunch of other things about kidneys popping up all the way around you. But that's consciousness, and it's like what you're starting to focus on, everything else pops up, and you start to notice everything. And that's why having the right mindset is really important, because if you're focused on negativity, then you're going to notice everything around you that's negative. If you're focused on love or compassion or the beauty of this world or blessings, you're going to notice all of them popping up around you. So really, it's about perception and consciousness. What perception and consciousness do you want to embody all the time? What do you want to create in your world? Because what you're going to focus on and what your perception is what you're going to propagate. So if you're going to decide to focus on that one thing, make sure it's something that you want to actually have instead of something that you're worrying about or something that you're just feeling sick over and you're just spending a lot of time thinking about. So in the way of the kidney, it's really nice because a lot of things popped up for both you and I, Whitney, and I think that we were learning a lot from the situation. But for some people, it's a bigger problem.
Yeah, I think the greatest lesson for me during this process is no matter how much you love your job, no matter how much work you want to get done because you want to move to the next level, you have to create space every day to take care of yourself. And your business and your life can't grow if you're stressed out. And that's my number one takeaway, is just seeing the years that my dad worked late into the night, stressed, and that stress on his body, his adrenals, his kidneys, and so forth. But it was really fascinating learning more about these kidney tumors that are popping up and them being a big reflection of something happening in the environment. So we're trying to figure out, is it the water? Is it something being sprayed? Is there an environmental frequency in our neighborhood that we're unaware of? So in this odd time that we're working or living in, thank goodness we are conscious enough that something isn't right. And so we have to do a little extra work every day just to maintain homeostasis within the body.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And what would you recommend health wise as far as what to consume to support kidneys? I know that you had mentioned at one point, if I'm remembering correctly, in order to support kidneys through food, you're going to want to find the shape of kidneys in food, and a lot of the time in nature, and a lot of the time those are the types of foods you should be consuming, and it would be supportive. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So, obviously, number one would be a kidney bean. So, anything that looks like the shape of a kidney is going to be great for kidney. Eating kidney. So, going to your farmer's market, going to a butcher shop, and special ordering kidney from lamb, from chicken, from beef. That would be great and supportive. You don't just have to eat it as is and grill it up like a steak. I prefer to have it ground. So your butcher store can grind it for you. You can throw it in a food processor, grind it up, and just add it into your meatballs. That's a great way to get kidney in. Leafy greens are really great for kidney. I feel like leafy greens are really great for everything. So kale, chard, dandelion greens, collard greens. These are often more health supportive if you cook them. So don't think that you need to eat them raw in a salad. Simply blanching them in salty boiling water or slow cooking them in some bone broth or adding them to soup is really the best way to consume them because you're breaking down the cellular wall so you can better absorb the rest of the nutrients in them. And with kidney, you really want to do self-care. Like you really want to start to carve out time in your week to get a massage, relax. So it's nice to get to perspective knowing that it's really happening that you can set an energetic blueprint in food beyond the energy that it carries itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And how many times have we eaten at a restaurant or eaten from a place where you know that the chef's not that happy, or maybe you've seen them, maybe who knows? I mean, you can tell when you eat something when the food isn't happy. You can tell if you really pay attention.
Oh yeah.
You can tell how it was prepared. You can tell the emotion behind it if you're really paying attention, if you're sensitive. And you should.
Especially when you eat at a place regularly. So I found that there was a time period where I was going to Erewhon in LA and I was getting my usual dishes and they were lifeless and flavorless. It wasn't good anymore. It didn't feel right. I had to take a big break for a while and it didn't make any sense. There was nothing different about what I was ordering, but energetically, something was clearly going on in the kitchen. The food was not the same.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's you can tell. And I mean, I don't know about you, but my grandma's meals always tasted the best. And I mean, she was a great cook, but she put so much love into the food, and it just you could tell when you ate it. So even if it was food I wasn't usually used to, and maybe even food that I wouldn't ordinarily eat, it still felt good to eat it just because she put so much love into it. You know what I mean? So that and the mindfulness behind how it's prepared and the respect behind it, knowing from farm to table, it has the food been respected, has it been treated in a way that makes sense. Now you're not going to be able to, it's probably not going to be perfect, at the end of the day you're not going to be able to really know exactly, but you're going to at least be able to mindfully choose logically, like, well, chances are this is going to be better than maybe this choice over here, depending on, how Whitney is guiding you with her class. She's going to point the way. There's going to be a lot of actually really cool tips like that in there for you. So I'm personally really stoked. I know that I'm going to be watching it because I want to learn more about it. I can't wait. So it's going to be
Thank
the
you.
best.
Yeah, it's just all about good, better, best, and when to take the extra step to get the better quality items, and then you learn to not beat yourself up emotionally when you can't. And that's a big part of it. if you can't get the quality that you really want and you have to settle with something that isn't ideal, is to not mentally beat yourself up and not insult the food, because that's then energetically going into the food you're about to eat.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and it's not the food's fault. So, and it's also, if, hey, listen, if you're gonna go off your diet and eat that one thing that you know you probably shouldn't eat, then, as my guru would always tell me, if you're gonna go off your diet and do it with all your heart. Love every bite, every moment, savor it, make it the best thing ever, because you might as well do it with love if you're gonna do it. So, a lot of the time,
Absolutely.
yeah, don't beat
I
yourself up for it,
completely agree.
ever,
Yeah,
ever, ever,
on
ever.
the same page with that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, and coming off of a stint of uh, both of our parents, getting their kidneys removed, and where health gets to be a priority. I mean, health conscious food choices and keeping yourself healthy now, so these types of things hopefully can be prevented, is really truly key. So prevention is just the way to go, honestly. So I know that Whitney is going to be teaching a lot of that kind of stuff too, because that's just Whitney. So I'm excited to hear about that. But as far as kidney health, I think we covered it. Let's eat the kidney shapes, like the kidney beans and stuff like that, and the right kind of water, and the flushing out is really important. The flushing out, right? Just getting all those toxins. What about, because I know that you talk about castor packs and stuff like that. Is there anything else internally that we can take, supplement wise, or I know that there's some really good liver flushes that you can consume. I think I might get to do that. I get to flush my liver. I think that would be fantastic. I'm excited about that.
So that's so interesting because I've been feeling the same thing, Shamananda, that I need to go ahead and schedule um my juice cleanse and liver gallbladder flush for the year. It's been a year since I've done one, and I love doing it in the summertime. The summertime, because it's warm, it's a great time to juice cleanse or fast because your body isn't going to get as cold. The winter time isn't a good time to do it because it's cold outside. It's going to chill the body to the bone. The summertime, where you can go out and into the sun and then therefore have balance within the body, it's a great time to cleanse. So I've been feeling the same thing. It's time to get that scheduled.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So for you, it's about castor. It's about the castor packs. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I think I might put one on as soon as we're done chatting. So I do a castor oil pack about twice a week. It is one of my favorite things to do and treat myself with. Um, I like to use the Queen of Thrones wrap. So you can go on Amazon. You can look at my Amazon shop. You can look up Whitney Aronoff or Chef Whitney Aronoff, and you'll see my favorite wrap and organic castor oil. I just wrap it around me. When I have the time, I'll put a little hot water pack on me. You just let it sit on you for an hour. You will have the best night's sleep. But this castor oil is really nourishing and helping your liver naturally detox. It's filling your body with so many deep nutrients that it's been needing. And oh man, you get a incredibly deep, restful sleep, which is so restorative for all your organs and your beautiful skin.
Yeah. Well, and kidney and liver health is so important just to keep all of your organs healthy. I mean, it's the filtration system, really. So keeping that, however you get to do it, however you get to unclog that, and give the poor liver and kidney a rest by making sure it stays nice and clean. So it's really great that you do that once a year. I think that's pretty fantastic. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, the castor oil packs are the most simple, easy thing you can do at home to help your body.
Yeah, yeah. Is there a any teas or anything else that you can consume that would flush through the actual organs that you've ever done that you like, or
You know, any organic loose leaf herbal tea is going to be supportive for you. Again, you want to get loose leaf because most